Good morning, everyone. I'm Dr. Sukhwant Singh, your subject teacher for medicinal chemistry in the semester 5th of Bachelor's of Pharmacy. I welcome you all to my class. The topic that we are already talking about is the antihistaminics, and in my previous classes, we have already talked about the introduction to histamine, how it is biosynthesized in the body, what are its various modes of metabolism in the body. Then we have also talked about the importance of histamine. Then I also talked about the various receptors that histamine has in our body, namely the H1, H2, and the additional ones H3 and H4. We have talked about the various agonists to histamine on the various receptors like H1 antagonists and H2 antagonists and H3 antagonists. Then I talked about the general structure of antihistaminic drug, wherein we talked about the various components of antihistaminic drug, which is being displayed on the board right now. Then I also talked about the drugs that block the release of histamine. Then we started talking about the drugs that block the released histamine in the body. And in my last class, just before this one, we talked about the H1 antagonist, first generation drugs, which are also termed as the classical antihistamines. And these are clinically used in the treatment of histamine mediated allergy conditions like allergic rhinitis and allergic conjunctivitis. So, while concluding the last class, I told you about the various classes of H1 antagonist, first generation. These were namely the amino alkyl ethers, ethylene diamine derivatives, propylamine derivatives, phenothiazine derivatives, and piperazine derivatives. I also went on to talk about the amino alkyl ether, wherein I told you that why its name is amino alkyl ether. And I talked about the various component parts of this particular molecule, that why it is an ether, wherein I told you that this is the strategic position of O, which makes it an ether, and one of the portion of the molecule is an amino part, and another one is an alkyl part. So the two classes of the drugs which are in this category are diphenhydramine, wherein various positions that are occupied by aryl or arylamine or alkyl groups are given. And the name of this compound, diphenhydramine, is actually N,N-dimethyl ethanamine. Then we also talked about doxylamine, then clemastine, and the various substituents which are present on the various locations of these aryls or ARL groups, or these are. So these are the basic positions where substitutions are done, whereas the rest of the molecule is the similar one. Then I talked about the structural activity relationships of this compound, which are characterized, I told you about, because it is characterized because of the presence of the oxygen, which happens to be the connecting moiety, and hence the name of the compound is ether. And the most of the compounds in this series there are simply N,N-dimethyl ethanolamine derivatives. That is, the position is N,N-dimethylamine. This is the most this is the group which is present in almost all the moieties of this particular class. And most amino alkyl ethers are optical active. This we have talked in my previous class. And they possess significant anticholinergic activity, which may enhance the H1 blocking action on the exocrine secretion, right? And these amino alkyl ethers have to penetrate blood-brain barrier and occupy central H1 receptor, resulting in drowsiness. So these compounds are basically able to cross the most crucial blood-brain barrier, and as a result, since it is blocking the centrally located receptors, or the receptors which are present on the brain, and as a result, it causes severe drowsiness when you take H1 antagonist. That's why these drugs are also called as first generation drugs. Now the second category of the drugs in this category is ethylene diamine derivatives. Now again, look at the name, ethylene diamine. So this tells that we are having amine part on both the sides of the molecule, which is connected by an ethylene bridge. So this is the ethyl bridge. This is the ethylene bridge, and these are the two amines which are present on the both ends of this ethyl group. That is why the name of this compound is ethylamine derivatives. Now the proximal amine group contains aromatic substitution and an aryl substitution, whereas the other amine can contain usually two alkyl moieties. So the drugs which belong to this category are triple-enamine, methylpyridine, etc. Now, when we talk about the SAR of this compound, these are characterized by the nitrogen-containing atom. And phenbenzamine was first clinically useful member of this category, and replacement of phenyl moiety of phenbenzamine with 2-pyridyl system yielded triple-enamine. So if you look at the triple-enamine, we find that this aryl moiety is usually occupied by this group. Okay, and this moiety is occupied by this pyridyl derivative. Okay, so hence it contains triple-enamine. Now you may choose to ask why its name is triple-enamine. Its name tells that it contains 3 nitrogens, triple amine. So where are the 3 nitrogens? This is the first nitrogen, this is the second nitrogen, and on the pyridine we are having another nitrogen. Therefore its name is triple-enamine. Okay, so it contains 3 nitrogens. Replacement of benzyl group of triple-enamine with 2 thionyl methyl groups provide methapyridine. So if you look at methapyridine, this is methapyridine. Here we have replaced the this moiety with thionyl moiety, right? Okay, so this thionyl methyl group provides you methapyridine. And similarly, replacement of triple-enamine with 2-pyridyl group with pyrimidinyl moiety yields thonzylamine. Now this is thonzylamine. Here we can find that this replacement has been done. Okay, so instead of pyridine, we are having pyrimidine. The anticholinergic and antiemetic action of these compounds are low. Now the next compound of this category, or next series of derivatives are propyl amine derivatives. Propyl amine derivatives. That means it is going to have at least 3 carbons. What are these 3 carbons? First carbon, second carbon, and the third carbon. And the third carbon contains again substitutions, AR and ARL. And the terminal amine contains NCH2, that is dimethylamine moiety is present on the other end of the molecule. So the first category of this drug is, the first drug in this category is phenramine, and this compound is available as phenramine maleate in market. The aryl moiety is occupied by a C6H5 group, and aryl is occupied by a pyridine moiety. So this is where you have a C6H5, and here you have a pyridine derivative. So the chemical name of this compound becomes 2-alpha-2-dimethylamine ethyl benzyl pyridine. The second compound is chlorphenramine. This is also available as a chlorphenramine maleate. Here nothing happens. C6H5 is replaced by a benzyl, chloride derivative of the benzene. So phenyl substituted at para position replaces with chlorine becomes chlorphenramine, and bromine it becomes bromophenramine. Now these halogenated phenramines are more potent and have a longer duration of action. The agents in this class produces less sedation than the other classical antihistamines. So this compound usually gives you lower sedation as compared to the other sedative antihistaminic drugs. Now the next category consists of unsaturated analogs of these compounds. Now these are unsaturated. What do you mean by unsaturated? Unsaturated मतलब जहाँ पे हमारा amine जो है वो unsaturated form में present होगा. So look at this example. This contains 1, 2, 3 carbons. And now the nitrogen that we have here is a tertiary nitrogen, which is a ring containing nitrogen, and it is a saturated one. So the examples of the drugs in this category is pyrobutamine. So here we can find it is a toluene, chlorotoluene derivative molecule, and we also have tripyridine in this method. Now the next category of drugs in this category is phenothiazine derivatives. Phenothiazine's general structure is this, which is displayed on the screen right now. So now this contains a S as well as a N. So this S gives it the name thia, right? So this is phenothiazine. The first drug of this category is promethazine, and the only substituent that we have in this is this position R, which is present on the nitrogen. And if we go on changing this R, we get different compounds. So in case of promethazine, it is dimethylamino. Okay, so this dimethylamino when takes the position at this nitrogen, then we get promethazine. Its chemical name is 10,2-dimethylamino propyl phenothiazine. Another drug in this category is trimeprazine. Now, trimeprazine contains dimethylamino methyl propyl group on the phenothiazine moiety. So this dimethylamino methyl propyl is the compound which gives this its name. Now, the reason for the molecules that we are getting, we can clearly observe that this molecule is becoming bulkier on the amino side. You can find here 1 carbon, 2 carbon, and directly 1 nitrogen. Okay, and 1 carbon is present here also. Okay, so we are having 3 carbons in nitrogen, whereas in the other compound we are having 1 carbon here, 1 carbon here, 1 carbon here, then 1 carbon here, and on the amine we are again having 2 carbons. Here we can see that the carbon number has increased previous to nitrogen. So this tells us that this molecule is more lipophilic as compared to its previous compound promethazine. So phenothiazine derivatives that contain 2 or 3 carbon branched alkyl chain between between the ring system and terminal nitrogen atom. This differs the phenothiazine from antipsychotic series in which an unbranched propyl chain is required. If you look at the promethazine, which is the parent member of this series, it is moderately potent and with prolonged action and pronounced sedative effects. यानी कहने मतलब कि जो प्रोमिथाजीन है वो इस सीरीज का सबसे पहला मॉलिक्यूल है और वो एक इट हैपेंस टू बी मॉडरेटली पोटेंट, यानी वो उसकी एक्टिविटी अच्छी है पर बहुत ज्यादा अच्छी एक्टिव नहीं है, बट हाँ मॉडरेटली पोटेंट भी है, बट इट हैज गॉट लॉन्गर प्रोलॉन्ग्ड एक्शन एंड प्रोनाउंस्ड सेडेटिव इफेक्ट, यानी सेंट्रली एक्टिंग है, ये ब्लड ब्रेन बैरियर क्रॉस करता होगा और अल्टीमेटली इसका जो असर है सेडेशन का वो काफी ज्यादा है. The combination of lengthening of side chain and substitution of lipophilic groups in the second position of aromatic ring results in the compound with decreased antihistaminic activity and increased psychotherapeutic properties. यानी अगर आप इसकी सेकंड पोजीशन एरोमेटिक मतलब इसकी जो साइड चेन है उसको आप लेंथन कर दें, लंबा कर दें और लाइपोफिलिक ग्रुप्स को सेकंड पोजीशन पर आप लगाएं तो उससे उसकी एंटीहिस्टामिनिक एक्टिविटी घट जाती है बट साइकोथेरेप्यूटिक एक्टिविटी उसकी बढ़ जाती है. If you talk about the metabolism of this compound, these compounds undergo mono-di and N-dealkylation, sulfur oxidation, aromatic oxidation at third position to yield phenol and N-oxidation. Other drugs, dibenzocycloheptanes and dibenzocycloheptenes. Okay. यहाँ पे आपको जो डिफरेंस दिख रहा होगा, एक जगह अपन को हेप्टेन दिख रहा है और एक जगह अपन को हेप्टीन दिख रहा है. So the drugs in this category are cyproheptadine and azatidine. क्या difference है दोनों में? Now these are phenothiazine analogs in which sulfur atom is replaced by an isosteric vinyl group, which gives rise to the compound cyproheptadine, or a saturated ethyl group, which gives rise to the azatidine group. Now the next category is piperazine derivatives. Piperazine ये वाला स्ट्रक्चर है जो हमको यहाँ स्ट्रक्चर दिख रहा है. This is the piperazine. So the derivatives of this compound are termed as the piperazine derivatives. The first drug in this category is cyclizine, and the substitution that can occur are one on this side, that is R, and another substitution here which can be R1. So in cyclizine, this position is occupied by a hydrogen, and whereas this position is occupied by a methyl group. So the name of this compound becomes 1-diphenyl methyl 4-methyl piperazine. Okay. Then we also have chlorocycline. Chlorocycline में हम लोग को यहाँ पे जो टर्मिनल ग्रुप है R, this will be occupied by by chlorine, and this position R1 will be occupied by a methyl moiety. So this molecule chlorocycline का जो scientific name it becomes 1-parachloro alpha phenyl benzyl 4-methyl pyrazine. Then we also have meclizine. In meclizine again the R position is occupied by Cl, and the R1 position is occupied by a phenyl benzyl moiety. The name of this compound becomes 1-p-chloro alpha phenyl benzyl 4-m-methyl benzyl pyrazine. Now these are again ethylene diamine derivatives. The connecting moiety X is a CHN group, and these are moderately potent with low incidences of drowsiness, slow onset of action, and exhibit peripheral and central antimuscarinic activity. Primary structure difference is the nature of para-aromatic ring. Now, if we talk about the mechanism of action, H1 antagonists act by competitively inhibiting the effects of histamine at H1 receptor. आपको मेरी प्रीवियस क्लास याद होगी, मैंने आपको बताया था कि हिस्टामिन को अगर मुझे हिस्टामिन के इफेक्ट शरीर में नहीं चाहिए तो उसके 3 तरीके हो सकते हैं. पहला, हिस्टामिन जिस मास्ट सेल में या जिस सेल के अंदर है उस सेल को रप्चर होने से हमको रोकना है, यानी कि उसकी जो मेम्ब्रेन है उसको हमको स्टेबलाइज करना है. मेम्ब्रेन डिस्टेबलाइज हो जाएगी तो रप्चर हो जाएगी, और रप्चर हो जाएगी तो उसके अंदर से हिस्टामिन निकल करके अपने सराउंडिंग में पहुंच जाएगा. तो सबसे पहला मैकेनिज्म ये कि हम हिस्टामिन को रिलीज होने से रोकते हैं. तो उसके लिए हमने मेम्ब्रेन स्टेबलाइजिंग एजेंट्स देखे. दूसरा हमने पढ़ा था कि अगर हिस्टामिन रिलीज हो गई है हिस्टामिन के इफेक्ट्स मैंने भी आपको बताया कि किस तरीके से हम लोग ओवरकम कर सकते हैं. पहला, रिलीज जो हिस्टामिन का रिलीज उसको रोक सकते हैं हम विद हेल्प ऑफ मेम्ब्रेन स्टेबलाइजिंग एजेंट्स. दूसरा, जो हिस्टामिन रिलीज हो चुकी है उसको हम अपने रिसेप्टर से मिलने से रोक सकते हैं. तो रिसेप्टर से अगर वो अटैच नहीं हो पाएगा तो ऑब्वियसली उसका इफेक्ट जो है वो नहीं होगा. तो रिसेप्टर से हम उसको मिलने से कैसे हो सकते हैं, हम कोई एंटी हिस्टामिनिक ड्रग लेंगे जो उसके रिसेप्टर से उसको ब्लॉक कर देगी. तो हम अभी उसी मैकेनिज्म की बात कर रहे हैं. So H1 antagonist act by competitively inhibiting the effect of histamine at H1 receptor. यानी जो H1 का एंटागोनिस्ट है वो हिस्टामिन के साथ लड़ाई करता है रिसेप्टर से बाइंड होने के लिए. इसको हम बोलते हैं कॉम्पिटिटिव इनहिबिशन, है ना. सो रिसेप्टर पे जगह एक है और हमारे पास 2 मॉलिक्यूल है, एक हिस्टामिन है दूसरा एंटी हिस्टामिन है. तो एंटी हिस्टामिन हिस्टामिन से पहले जाकर के रिसेप्टर से बाइंड हो जाएगा, और अगर उससे पहले जाकर बाइंड हो जाएगा तो हिस्टामिन अब उस रिसेप्टर से नहीं जुड़ पाएगा और अल्टीमेटली हिस्टामिन एक्ट नहीं कर पाएगा और थोड़ी देर में उसका मेटाबॉलिज्म शरीर में हो जाएगा. सो again repeating, H1 antagonists act by competitively inhibiting the effects of histamine at H1 receptor. The H1 receptor blockade results in decreased vascular permeability, reduction of pruritus, relaxation of smooth muscles in the respiratory as well as the GIT systems. Now the first generation H1 antagonist, these are classical antihistamines. These are clinically used in treatment of histamine mediated allergic conditions. These are mainly used in allergic rhinitis, allergic conjunctivitis, allergic dermatological conditions. The adverse effects of these drugs are basically sedation. मैंने आपको बताया these are able to cross the blood-brain barrier, and since they are able to cross the blood-brain barrier, they reach the sites of centrally located sites, receptors, and block them. And as a result, the brain goes into sedation. This is evidenced by drowsiness and diminished alertness. अक्सर ऐसा होता है कि जब एविल ले लेते हैं तो उसके बाद काफी देर तक मधोशी टाइप की नींद टाइप की आती है या दिमाग थोड़ा सा सिगरेट हो जाता है. And this is due to the relatively lack of selectivity for peripheral H1 receptors. Now the second generation of antagonist has also come up. Second generation H1 antagonists are basically non-sedative in nature. These are the newer class of drugs which are though antihistaminic, but they do not centrally sedate. The example of these drugs are terfenadine and fexofenadine. The structures are available on your screen right now. And the third one is the most important and the most common one that we use today, that is cetirizine and the levorotatory part of cetirizine, that is the levocetirizine. Now these are relatively low affinity. These have relatively low affinity for central H1 receptors and largely free from sedation. The second generation drugs have little affinity for muscarinic adrenergic receptor also. Out of this, terfenadine is a long-acting H1 antagonist, and fexofenadine is primarily oxidative metabolite of terfenadine and does not cross the blood-brain barrier. तो हमने देखा कि ये जो drugs हैं न्यू जनरेशन वाली, थर्ड जनरेशन वाली, ये blood-brain barrier क्रॉस नहीं करती हैं, and since these are not crossing the blood-brain barrier, therefore इनके अंदर sedation जैसा या drowsiness जैसा इफेक्ट हमको नहीं देखने को मिलता है. Now the newer drugs that have recently, about 10 years ago, these drugs have come. That is acrivastine and loratadine, and the desrotatory part of loratadine that is also called as desloratadine, जो उसका dextro derivative है. Now these are active metabolites of second generation drugs intended to have increased efficiency and efficacy with fewer adverse reactions. Now I will end my class at the antihistaminic part of H1. And in my next class, I will start talking about the H2 antagonist, which is of course a very small topic, but I will like to talk about it in my next class, because since it's a different topic altogether and it has got different effects. So thank you very much for joining me in this class, and hope to see you soon in my next class. Thank you very much. God bless you all. Stay safe.